of the shortening Gold Ace.
So Livelihood the favourite here as we look at the map, as I said, over the straight 1,000 metres. And despite the fact that we've only got a small field here, one would imagine that they'd all go over to the flat side, but you never know, because the outside obviously has proven quicker. There are the tips. Livelihood from me and John Letts. Gold Ace from Jenny Chapman and Roy Higgins, the old buddies sticking together there. So there are the selections for the third race today. 1:05 the starting time. We're going to take a break now, and we'll come back to Flemington as the rain eases off now and look at the conditions that the crew have to work under. Hope you're enjoying yourselves at home, but Joe is getting paid so much money to be here, it doesn't really matter.
Tonight. It's Castlereagh Run, and they're all set to go for the Anderson Consulting Stakes. 1,000 metres is the distance. It is for the 2-year-olds. Quite a few of them having their first start, and they're off and racing now. Oasis was very awkward away from the gates. Livelihood jumped away fairly well. Gold Aces got out quite quickly. Dan Trist over on the inside was showing a little bit of toe in the early part of the race, and Cairo Prince is going to settle down behind them. Castlereagh Run wide out. Oasis is going to go back to the tail. We're all on the flat side as they go over the crossing. About 700 metres left to travel now, and going through in the middle, Livelihood is just a narrow leader here. Dan Trist was able to push up on the inside. Frosty the Snowman was out a little bit wider. Then Cultural Dancer and Gold Aces joining in strongly, followed by Castlereagh Run. Rye Hero under pressure. Livelihood just lost a little bit of ground. Gold Aces travelling as they go to the 300. Moved alongside Frosty the Snowman and Dan Trist on the rail, and they've raced away from Castlereagh Run. Gold Ace in front. He wants to duck in. He's very new to this caper. He's first up, but he is going to win. Gold Ace got a length and a half clear, and the money is right. Gold Ace draws away and wins for Damien Oliver. Quite a comfortable ride as he goes to the post. 3 lengths in advance of Dan Trist. Frosty the Snowman just hanging on for third from the fast finishing Rye Hero, and Oasis, who got to the post very well. A long break in the field then to Cultural Dancer, followed by Cairo Prince, Castlereagh Run, and Livelihood was pretty disappointing really. It was gone at the 500.
Well, Dan, he looked the goods before the race, and he's delivered the goods. He's a very smart horse. Very relaxed horse. We noticed him around the barrier there. He's just wandering around with his ears pricked. You know, the sign of a real top racehorse.
They ran 57.9 seconds, and they're the totes. 240 and 140 for Gold Ace. Number 3, Dan Trist, approximately $3.70. Yes. And 1, Frosty the Snowman. There is a photo for third, approximately $1.50.
Yeah. Here's a great shot of him coming up here. They've got about a furlong and a half to go here, and Damien's just shaking the horse up. He's on the 3 from the inside there, just travelling very well. Just inclined to want to get in a little bit here. That's just greenness. Now he's getting the upper hand of the 2 on the inside. See him just want to lay in a little bit there. You'd see a head-on shot. He'd have his head on the side. Gives him one with the stick. Wham, he put it away again. He's got him beat. Away he goes.
After the photo for third, number 1, Frosty the Snowman, has hung on. So it's 4, 3 and 1. Lee Friedman is the trainer of Gold Ace. Plenty of money went on this horse. Peter Donegan, he was very, very heavily backed.
He was very heavily backed, Lee Friedman. He's green, but he's good.
Yeah, I think he's a very good horse. You know, we trialled him here last week. He went down with Grand Bay in a heat of the trials here last Tuesday, and he finished on terms. They ran very good time, so we're confident he'd go well today.
We can see him here as he goes past the leaders, just wanting to get in a bit, and I think he might have jumped the crossing down there too.
Yeah, he jumped the crossing and he ran in and out and did a fair few things wrong, but I think he's a pretty smart colt, this, and we'll put him away now because he's a Magic Million horse.
All right, later in the day, Paris Lane, what about this rain? How does that affect his chances, better or worse?
I don't think it makes much difference. There's hardly been any rain. They're still running good times. Yeah.
So more than anything, it's probably just going to give the track a decent sort of cushion.
Yeah, well, maybe it might just make it a bit glassy too. But you know, who knows?
Okay, Lee, well done.
Thank you.
Winning trainer in the third race, and a very impressive performance by Gold Ace. 4, 3 and 1 of the numbers. Gold Ace ridden by Damien Oliver. Dan Trist second, Greg Hall. Frosty the Snowman third, Simon Marshall. Time 57.9. Here's Johnny Letts with the winning rider, Damien Oliver.
Yeah, Damien, very impressive win first up.
I think he's going to make a nice horse, this horse.
He raced a little bit green in the last 200 metres, but gee, wasn't he too good for him?
He did, yeah. Once he got in front of the other horses, he didn't really know what to do, but yeah, I think you're going to hear more of him.
I think Lee's going to put him away now for the Magic Millions. He's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, he's a likely type for that, because he's such a natural, and it's a perfect race.
Damien, congratulations on the ride and good luck in the Cup later, mate, on Paris Lane.
Thanks, mate. I hope to see you about up past 3.
Well, I hope so.
Johnny Letts talking to Damien Oliver with that impressive 2-year-old Gold Ace, the winner of the 3rd race on the program on Melbourne Cup Day. So just repeating the placings, 4, 3 and 1. The time 57.9, which is 2.4 seconds outside the record, but there's improvement in that fellow. He's still learning how to race, as you saw, and once he knuckles down to the task, he is going to be a very, very smart 2-year-old. We'll take a break. Back with all the information shortly as you watch Network 10's coverage of Melbourne Cup Day from Flemington.
Tim, $2.40 for the win, $1.40 the place. Dan Trist paid $3.80 and Frosty the Snowman $1.50. The Quinella $24.20. Trifecta $177.60. The race-to-race double $38.30. The margins were 3 lengths by 1 length. As I said, it was a soft win and the time was 57.9. But as the trainer even pointed out, horse has got a pretty good future and he's marked out some very rich 2-year-old races for this winner Gold Ace.
Yes, indeed, Dan. He's a very smart, handsome colt, is Gold Ace. There he is there. And big fella too, big barrel-chested sort of a bloke. And not happy about the rug going on, but most of the 2-year-olds aren't. In fact, he's not happy about much at all. But he's just won his race, so his connections are happy enough, Peter Donegan?
Yeah, I'm sure they would be, and I think they're going to have a lot more to look forward to, Tim, because I think this horse might go on, Jen, and you've got 3 in a row, so you're 100%.
Yes, at the moment. Can I go home now?
No, you can't. You've got to stay here and work.
Stay for the Cup.
100 metres, somewhat of an unusual distance here at Flemington. Daniel, take us through the tote figures.
Peter Upwards has opened up $9.70 for the win. Brancho Man is horse number 3 at $18.50. Dubai Desert $8.10. Over the Top $4.60 and $1.90. Parketry $13.60. Top Flash $20.80. Tusk Hunter is showing $14 even for the win. Ceto Flowerian $31. Campaign Warrior $13. Pressman's Choice $42.40. Varo's Last $81.80. Karen Key $66.80. Just in Chime $7.10. Num Sing $11.30. Runner $21.70. Down to 18 Van Rapid $51.80 and number 20 is Ceto Bridge $38.90. So the scratchings are 2, 17 and 19. That's for race number 4 at Flemington.
Cool. Yes, I have got a special guest. Last year it was John Farnham singing for us at the Cup. This year, James Blundell. Hello, mate.
Hello, Tim. How are you?
You would have thrown your leg over a few in your time in the bush. Horses, I know.
Yeah, just a few, yeah. Just that horses.
Stop it over there. Yeah?
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah. And you like the look of that fella?
Yeah, he's built like a tank, isn't he? Good Lord, when he gets his head down, he'll be scary.
Now, listen, we've got 350 million people watching.
Thank you, Tim. I was trying very hard to forget that part of it. But anyway, if I get this song wrong, I should give it away.
You must be looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it must be great fun. I mean, there's no bigger stage than this, is there? Anywhere in the world.
Absolutely. Well, we were out here rehearsing yesterday, and front house guy John McConnell kicking in the PA as it went on. It was just, the world was lighting up. I thought, I think we're plugged into something major here, you know, it's good.
Yeah, now listen, musically, you've, from the first time I think I saw you on Good Morning Australia years and years ago, and you were pretty much a country singer then, but, and I suppose you still are after a fashion, but you've branched out a bit, you're playing a lot more electric music, you're teaming up with people doing duets. I mean, you're expanding the repertoire, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realise when I first got into music that I was naturally a musician. It was something that developed over a period of time. Good Lord, yeah. And
young slip of a youth.
Absolutely, so naive. Look at that. But as I grew, music developed, and it was just I've really fallen in love with it and love experimenting with it and stretching it out. But still try and maintain a fairly fundamental sort of earthy, rootsy lyric. Yeah.
Was it always your intention that it become a career, or did you? No, I didn't think so. It was just a sideline.
Literally. Well, I came out of. I'd been working with cattle in Victoria and Northern Queensland, the Kimberley and Papua New Guinea. Had an accident in Papua New Guinea that wrecked my back and had to go down to Sydney, and I thought I'd be down there for a couple of weeks having some kind of medical attention, and I was told to take 12 months away from manual labour. Yeah. And little bit by little bit I found out that I was singing a hell of a lot more than I was doing cattle work, and then all of a sudden I was like, now you've got 3 or 4 records and you're officially a musician.
And strumming a guitar's a little bit less hard work.
Well, the old man's great. He said you're the first member of this family for 6 generations not to have to worry about seasons or commodity prices, so don't come home until I don't want you anymore, you know.
Well, mate, all the best this afternoon. I know it'll be great. I'm not even going to ask you how you're going to do it because we want to look forward to it with everybody else.
Thanks.
James Blundell, who's going to sing for us at Melbourne Cup time today. Now let's hear from Gordon Bray about two old diggers who've made a ritual of coming to the Cup since 1945.
Reunion that turns 50 today. We're just waiting on Pierce Carl to arrive by train. He's been meeting here at Flemington on Cup Day since 1945 with old World War II diggers. But sadly, the numbers have dwindled from 12 to just 2. I think we've spotted him. Pierce, first Tuesday in November.
First Tuesday in November.
What's the special day for you?
Cup Day, a magic day, a magic day. 50 years today, you know, the 50th time I've been out here with my very good friend Frank, whom I hope to find somewhere down there.
How are you going to find him?
With any amount of luck, he'll have a red beret on, and it stands out like nothing else.
Well, let's go. Let's go. Okay. See you. Now, what's he wearing? A red beret?
The red beret. Sure to be wearing a red beret. Where have I been? No, never late. Listen, do you realise what it is today?
Cup Day.
Cup Day. Of course it's Cup Day. 50 years today.
You're always 50 years in succession.
Yeah.
You're always bloody well late.
So, Frank, what's the funniest thing that's happened to you in all this time?
You want me to write a book, do you? There's many funny things happen. I suppose my wife she prepared our lunches for 47 years. She passed away, unfortunately, a couple of years ago. What was it? I think it was who won after Russia. That's right, Haraji, the Grey. The Grey. She'd made a beautiful pasty. She could make beautiful pasties. And they brought it out all beautifully wrapped in paper and in a plastic bag. So we settled ourselves under the trees behind the old, where the bar was in the centre, pulled out the bag and opened our pasty. I had brought a pullover to go to the dry cleaners instead of the pasty. There were two bags together at home, I'd remember it. So that was the lunch we had. A lazy hot dog instead of a beautiful big pasty. And when I got home, did I cop out?
Well, make sure you don't miss the last train tonight.
50 years in succession, you know. It's wonderful, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a long way down the straight six, but you've got to walk, isn't it?
Where's your carnation?
Isn't that a great story? Since 1945, those two fellows have been meeting here at the Melbourne Cup. But that's the only time they meet every year, too. I mean, that's the sort of event we're talking about here. The Melbourne Cup. Well, Cup Day 1994, we could almost be in Ireland or England, where I'm sure they have this sort of racing all the time, and it's not fussing anybody at all here today, and neither it should. And a few less umbrellas up all the time. Well, jockeys are pretty good judges of racetracks, Peter, and I think you've got an update on the track. Yes, it was timely that we spoke to Damien Oliver, Tim, because the stewards have just downgraded the track from fast to good officially at 126. So the track now officially good at 126, originally fast, and that was pretty much, Tim, what Damien Oliver told us. Absolutely. I don't know whether that changes any of your minds at all about what you're going to back, because it's still a very good track, let me tell you. We walked across it this morning. It was very firm then. So I guess just a bit of sting being taken out of it. Murray, look.
Flemington without a hat is almost like going to the movies without popcorn or playing tennis without the ball. It's just not the same.
Nobody does it better. Makes me feel sad for the rest.
Today's been a magnificent exhibition of functional art called hats. Peter and the many talented milliners around the country have put on a truly fantastic display.
When Vintage Crop thundered to the line 12 months ago, there have been few bigger stories in the proud history of the Melbourne Cup. If he wins today, make no mistake, it'll be just as big an achievement. He might be carrying 14 stitches after Tuesday's mishap at Sandown, but the Irish champ will also be carrying a big heart. Another stayer from across the seas, Jern, came back into Cup calculations with a fine second in Saturday's McKinnon Stakes. Erratic at times, he'll need a truly run race to produce his best, and that looks likely to be the case. Little Paris Lane will etch his name alongside champions such as Rising Fast and Let's Elope if he wins the big one today. He joined those great gallopers as post-war winners of the Caulfield Cup, McKinnon Stakes, Melbourne Cup treble. His colours will be the same as those carried to victory by Gurners Lane in the Cup's double 12 years ago. An old superstition is that a horse with 4 white feet will never be any good. Today, English galloper Quick Ransom may just debunk that theory in the biggest possible way. The English horse has barrier 1, Brent Thompson on his back, and clearly an awful lot of ability. Leading the homegrown challenge along with Paris Lane, David Hayes' star in the making, Top Rating. A ridiculously easy win in the Moonee Valley Cup was followed by an eye-catching 6th in Saturday's McKinnon. And Greg Hall knows what it takes to win on the first Tuesday in November. And while the big names have been capturing most of the headlines, locally trained mare Alcove has been going quietly about her business and doing it impressively. A most impressive second in the Caulfield Cup was followed by an equally creditable 4th in the Cox Plate. She's all racehorse and could just thwart the overseas invaders. They're the best from many different parts of the world, and they're the favourites in the race that stops the nation.
They are. I'm sure many of you have made up your mind already. That might have changed your mind. I'm always of the opinion that it's better to stick with your first inclination, and with me that's been with Little Paris Lane, who's got a heart as big as the grandstand, and I think he might just complete the treble. Peter Donegan, but then again, everybody's got their own opinion.
Well, he'll certainly join some illustrious company, as I said, Tim, with Rising Fast and Let's Elope as the winner of the Caulfield Cup, McKinnon Stakes and Melbourne Cup, if he does win the Melbourne Cup today, and that's putting him in some pretty lofty company, Jen.
Oh, yes, he's a very good horse, so, you know, he could possibly do it.
Righto, more immediate matters. Race 4, the Schweppes 1800. We've got a few chances here. The scratchings are numbers 2, 17 and 19. The first horse we're going to take a look at will lead them out, upwards to be ridden by Grant Cooksley. He's raced in top company in his last 2.
Yes, he got well back at Moonee Valley at his last start, but he kept going all right to the post. He looks terrific in the mounting yard. My only worry is with him with the 59.5 kilos.
Number 4, Dubai Desert. David Hayes scratched him from Adelaide on Saturday to keep him for this, and he'll be fitted for 2 runs this time in.
Yes, he's drawn barrier 18 here, Peter, so he might need a little bit of luck. He did have an 11th month spell, so he's obviously had some problems, this horse, but his last 2 runs have been pretty good.
The Gay Waterhouse train number 5 over the top to be ridden by Larry Cassidy. The worry with him, Jen, is that he does get up on the bit. He pulls in his races, but Gay told me at the track the other morning that she thinks that he might settle a bit better.
Well, if he does, he's certainly left there with a very good chance because he looks terrific in the mounting yard. He is very fit. He'll probably lead in this race, and he'll give you a good sight for your money. 6
Parker Tree, trained by David Hall at Epsom, ridden by Greg Hall. And forget the last start at Caulfield when it finished last because it was absolutely flattened.
Yes, and he pulled up quite distressed on that occasion, Parketry, so don't be surprised if he puts in a better performance here.
Campaign Warrior number 10, one trained by David Hayes here at Flemington, ridden by Damien Oliver. Pretty hard to have him on his last 2 starts, but if you go back before that, a good 3rd behind Monsieur.
Well, he wasn't all that hopeless, Peach. He was at Moonee Valley last start. He was only beaten just over 4 lengths. He has Damien Oliver on board, and he's from the very strong Hayes stable, so I think he might go better on this track. It's a bigger track, it'll suit him better.
14 Justin Chime is a Sydney galloper, comes down here. This 4-year-old with a good reputation. He's your selection in the race, Jen. Tell us why.
Well, last start he won by 2 lengths. He never left the fence on that occasion. It was a terrific win. Jim Cassidy's on board today. He's won 3 times on this horse out of his 4 wins, and he's a very consistent galloper. I give him a terrific chance, and he looks fantastic in the mounting yard as well.
And 15 Num Sing, trained by Rick Hall-Lacey, ridden by Rodney Griffiths, has drawn the outside gate here. He's got some ability, this fellow, though.
Yes, the outside gate isn't going to help him all that much, so if he's ridden a little bit quieter, I think he might improve. But I'm going to stick with number 14, Justin Charm. I think this horse will be right on for the 1800 metres. It will really suit him here. From number 5 over the top, I think he'll give you a good run for your money because he's going to be out there in front. And number 10, Campaign Warrior, around about the 12 to 13 to 1.
I'll take the tip from Gay Waterhouse and tip over the top here in race 4 because, as Jenny said, it will be up near the lead. Let's see what tote punters have made of it in the last 20 minutes or so. Here's Dan Milliken.
Peter, number 1 upwards, the top weight, $9.80 for the win. Rancho Man, $19.90. Dubai Desert, $8.90. Over the top, $3.90. $14.60 Parketry. Top Flash, $21.80. Tusk Hunter is showing $14.90 for the win. 9 is Cito Flowerian, $32.20. Campaign Warrior, $14.30. Pressman's Choice 53.60, Varro's Last 92, Karen Key 76, Just in Chime $6.70, Numsing 12.10, Runner 21.60. Number 17 is Out Renaissance, 18 Van Rapid 59.60, 19 Out Glint of Steel, and 20 Aceto Bridge is $30.90. So over the top is the favourite, clear favourite at $3.90. Runners are on the track going to the barriers at the 1800 metre start. We'll come back after this commercial break. Numsing goes up, and they're all set to go. 1800 metres, the light is on, and they're away in racing. Just in Chime was a little bit sluggish away, and also Numsing is going to settle towards the tail. Van Rapid, one of the first to jump away. Rancho Man ridden hard with Over the Top on the outside, ambling up towards the front. Runner was forward early, followed by Parketry and Dubai Desert deep out. Karen Key improving its position as they settle and run to the 1400 metres point. Now midfield with Ceto Bridge, who's racing around the outside of Ceto Flowerian, who's down on the inside, and Campaign Warrior in the centre. 1.5 lengths away then to Tusk Hunter, and then came Pressman's Choice. Varro's Last was 3 wide. Numsing next, and Top Flash going back to the tail of the field with Just in Chime. About 1,000 metres to go, and Rancho Man in front. The horse from Perth, 1.5 lengths to Over the Top. A similar margin away then to Runner racing third on the inside of Karen Key. Then Van Rapid, followed by Dubai Desert, Parketry the centre. They were followed by Ceto Bridge on the outside of Campaign Warrior and Ceto Flowerian. Varro's Last is 3 wide outside of Pressman's Choice. Down on the fence, Tusk Hunter, and then came Numsing, Top Flash, and last of all, Just in Chime. Working up towards the home turn, and they have about 700 metres to go, and Rancho Man in front leads about 3/4 of a length to Over the Top, and Karen Key third. Runner fourth the inside, then came Parketry, followed by Van Rapid and Dubai Desert. Tusk Hunter was next, and Ceto Flowering is edging closer on the inside. Upwards taken out very deep as they come to the 400. Over the top, the leader. Karen Key trying to challenge, it's a length away. Ceto Flowering running on strongly, and then Van Rapid, Top Flash, and down the outside Numsing. Over the top in front, Ceto Flowering coming in at it. Numsing down the outside, Ceto Flowering got to the lead, and then Ceto Bridge, the stablemate, running on, but Ceto Flowering in front. Ceto Bridge getting the second from Over the Top, but Ceto Flowering wins it. Ceto Bridge has run second, Over the Top third. From on the outside, Numsing, make up a good bit of ground on the straight was Campaign Warrior, and they were followed home by Top Flash, and next in was Just in Chime, Tusk Hunter. Then came Upwards, followed home by Karen Key. Further back, Van Rapid, Dubai Desert, Pressman's Choice Runner, Rancho Man, Parketry, and Varro's Last has pulled up towards the tail of the field.
Well, very good win there, Dan. Ceto Flowerman had good form earlier on and seemed to lose it, but it's certainly come back. The totes there.
27.90. Gee, it was at big odds, wasn't it? Ceto Flowering, horse number 9 at huge odds, really. The stablemate Ceto Bridge has run second, horse number 20. For two stablemates, they were pretty big odds, weren't they?
Yes.
$27.90 and $9 Ceto Flowering, $8.40 Ceto Bridge, and Over the Top. There is a photo finish for third. Its place dividend is $1.70 if it's got third, and it has. So they're in the frame now. They're 9, 20 and 5.
And here's a great shot Over the Top on the fence. Ceto Flowerman, Greg Childs is getting there, and here's Michael Kinane coming home very strongly on the stable, on the winner's stablemate to run second. Just noses out Over the Top. Notice the difference in riding styles with Michael Kinane with the whip left hand. There's a great shot here. Now it's Michael Kinane, 3 from the outside in the white colours. Notice the different riding style with the whip. Gives it one there.
Whip in the left hand.
Left hand, yes. Really good there. Greg Childs, one off the fence on the inside. Just the different styles altogether from the overseas boys to the Australian jockeys. But it's very effective.
It certainly is very effective, and let's talk to John Letts, who has the winning rider after race number 4 in Melbourne Cup Day.
Greg Childs, the rider of Ceto Flowering. Greg, a very impressive win today.
Was, John. It's on the way up, this filly, and she's going to go on for other cup races later on in the carnival.
Greg, she was been a bit disappointing in her first 3 runs down here, hasn't she?
I rode her in the first run. She was caught very wide. The second run, you know, she's probably just getting fitter. Today was the day.
Today was the day. Good luck, Greg, and good luck later in the day.
Thanks, John.
John Letts with Greg Childs. Great to see him back in the winner's circle, Greg Childs. He's a great bloke.
Very good rider. Very underrated.
Well, that's most important too, isn't it? He's a very good rider.
Yes, I was trying to think when I saw Cito Flowerman hit the line. I knew it had ran a good race in a listed race one day. That was ran 3rd or 14 at Gosford in the Bell of the Turf Stakes.
She was one of the favourites for the AJC Oaks earlier this year in the race that Alcove won. She finished down the track, but she won some good lead-up races and was one of the top 4 picks for a Group 1 race. And she's come back to form. Trainer Paul Cave, he had success, Peter, if I remember correctly, with Mingling Glances last year.
Yes, quite right, Dan. Paul tasting success after the Melbourne Cup last year, but before the Melbourne Cup this year. Congratulations, Paul.
Thank you very much.
Well, you're making Melbourne Cup Day your own.
Well, I'd like, yes, next year hopefully the Cup. We might, we've got a couple that might measure up to starting the Cup next year.
Pretty impressive performance by that fellow. Over the top looked to be travelling well at the 400, but he gathered him up pretty quickly.
Yes, she's Seta Florian. I mean, she's always quite out for distance, and you know, this is of course the bigger track. I mean, she's had a couple of starts and she's been down here with those drawn-out, tighter tracks, and this definitely suits her today. She'll race probably on the Bendigo Cup.
And what about the distance there? I think 2,200 metres. The way she went to the line, no problem.
Well, she ran second in the AJC Oaks last year, so distance is what she's looking for.
Well, I think I said to you last year that Irish lilt in the voice. Obviously, it was a good day for the Irish last year. What about, is your money going to be on perhaps Vintage Crop today?
I have to be.
Good on you, Paul. Well done. Paul Cade, the winning trainer, and Cito Flowerman has returned to scale now with Greg Childs aboard after the running of the 4th event on the program, the Schweppes 1,800 metres. And we'll take a break from Flemington. Be back with you shortly on Melbourne Cup Day. Riders on the scales now, and it looks as though Jimmy Cassidy might be talking to Chairman of Stewards, Mr. Pat Lawler, here after the running of the 4th race. Jim riding just in chime, number 14, and Jenny Chapman and myself both noticed that it was poleaxed at around about the 200 or 300 metre mark, and did run on very strongly in the closing stages. So Jimmy lodging an objection by the look of it with Pat Lawler there, as the Chairman of Stewards weighs in the remainder of the horses and the jockeys, I should say, and the details are that the protest is 4th against 2nd. 4th against 2nd, the protest here in race 4. So the placings as they stand at the moment are 9, 20 and 5, and number 14, Justin Chime, is the 4th horse protesting. Now, as we did on Saturday, we can take you into the stewards' room here and see the scene in the protest. It's only recently that stewards' hearings have been opened up to the press, and very, very rarely have they ever been opened up to the television cameras. So we might just have a listen and hear what is going on in the stewards' room with Jimmy Cassidy sitting there. He'll be asked to state his case, and then the rider of Cito Bridge will also be asked to state his case. At this stage, Paul Cave, the trainer, standing in the background there. And I don't know whether we can pick up what is actually going on in there. We heard some dramatic scenes in there the other day with Mark Miller and Alf Matthews. I think the stewards have directed that the microphones actually be turned off here so we can see the pictures. And Jim Cassidy protesting here in race number 4. Well, we don't get to see this too often, Jen.
No, we don't. It's very interesting. We saw a little bit of it on Saturday with Mark Miller in there. The jockeys state their cases, and then the stewards weigh up their decisions, and then they'll let you know what's happened. But yes, I did see a bit of interference there, so there's certainly a case.
All right, well, whether it was actually caused by that horse is up to the stewards to determine. Cito Bridge, and they'll have a look at the head-on shot. They'll also look at the side-on angle if needs be, but the protest going on. Of course, if you're on the winner, it doesn't affect it because Cito Flowerman is the winner. But the presentation won't happen here because Paul Cave is involved in the protest, and he is the trainer, of course, of the winner and also the 2nd horse. So the Quinella for Paul Cave there, and he will not be out here. Of course, more important things to worry about in race 4. So we'll keep you up to date with the outcome of that protest. And now I think we can hear Pat Lawler. So let's see if we can listen in there in the stewards' room.
change from the runners.
See it's standing room only in there. Imagine the scene there 3 years ago after the Melbourne Cup when the protest was being heard. Schweppes' revenge against Let's Elope in the 91 Melbourne.